Hi there. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will be comparing Moto G20 and Moto G22. Moto G20 and Moto G22 are Motorola mid-range phones with interesting features, such as the cameras and the 90Hz screen. The G20, released in 2021, received an update in September and now has more storage. The G22, from 2022, has a technical sheet very similar to its predecessor, and the price of the phone can be a decisive factor. The Moto G20 is available in the colors blue, graphite, and pink. The phone is sold in versions with 64 or 128 GB of internal memory. The Moto G22 is available in blue, green, and black, only in the 128 GB version. Check out in this comparison the similarities and differences between smartphones. On the outside, both the Moto G20 and Moto G22 adopt the usual industry standard of recent years, bar-shaped phones with a plastic body and 6.5-inch max vision screens with HD Plus resolution. But Motorola has added a little extra spice to these screens, as they feature a refresh rate of 90 Hz. This ensures the display of fluid images in movies, and especially in speed games. The selfie camera is housed in a centralized hole at the top of the screen in the case of the Moto G22, and in a notch, at the same point, for the Moto G20, which despite taking up a small space on the screen, does not interfere with daily use. The biometrics are located at different points in the two, centered on the back cover in the Moto G20, and under the power button in the Moto G22. Remarkably, Motorola has managed to imprint personality on both smartphones, without forgetting those who prefer more sober devices. Even though they present more closed colors like black and graphite, it is possible to find both phones in much more flashy colors, metallic blue and pink for the Moto G20, and Tiffany blue and aqua green for the Moto G22. One downside of the Moto G20 is that there is no protection against scratches or impacts on the screen glass. However, it is IP52 certified against water splashes and dust. Both Moto G20 and Moto G22 have quadruple cameras with very similar configurations, an 8MP ultra-wide sensor, a 2MP macro camera, and a 2MP depth sensor. But Motorola has beefed up the cameras on the newer smartphone a bit more. There are 50MP on the main camera and 16MP on the front sensor of the Moto G22 versus 48MP on the main camera and 13MP on the front sensor of the Moto G20. Both phones should produce clear and sharp photos, even in low-light environments due to quad-pixel technology. HDR should also help in this regard. In addition, the ultra-wide camera, present in both devices, stands out by providing a viewing angle 4 times larger than the conventional one. Both can shoot in full HD resolution, sufficient for display on most TVs. The Moto G22 still has a professional editing mode, with more precise controls for focus and ISO, among other features that should please users more enthusiastic with fine adjustments in photography. Despite being little known, the Moto G20 single-S processor doesn't do any harm when compared to its competitor's chip. In an analysis from specialized sites like Notebook Check, the Spectrum T700 processor performed, on average, up to 83% better than the MediaTek Helio G37 from the Moto G22. This translates into more agility when performing tasks such as using heavier applications like games. In practice, both components should perform adequately for everyday tasks, although there is a tendency for the Moto G22 single-S 2.3 GHz processor to provide greater battery savings. Both smartphones have 4 GB of RAM, the component responsible for reading files stored on the phone. In storage lies the first difference. While the Moto G20 has versions with 64 GB and 128 GB of internal memory, the Moto G22 is only sold in the 128 GB version. Both accept microSD cards of up to 1 TB, giving more comfort to the user to store their files without worry. Both Moto G20 and Moto G22 can enjoy powerful batteries. There is 5,000 mAh for each. The similar screen, processor, and RAM specifications should allow both to perform similarly daily. Motorola claims that the Moto G20 single-S super battery can last more than 2 days, which is welcome in modern devices. Both have USB Type-C charging ports, but the Moto G22 should do better in this regard, as it has a 20 watts turbo power charger included in the box. The Moto G20, on the other hand, received a turbo-power charger of only 10 watts, inferior to its little brother's charger. The Moto G20 leaves the factory with Android 11 from 2020 and has not received any updates since then, being left out of Motorola's list of phones able to receive the newest version of the system. The Moto G22, on the other hand, was released with Android 12 and should receive at least one system update for Android, released recently. The importance of system updates goes beyond interface changes, as it concerns improvements in battery savings, software and application security and privacy, and user data security. It is therefore important to consider system updates when purchasing new devices. Both Motorola devices feature connectivity with Bluetooth 5.0 and with 2.4 and 5 GHz Wi-Fi networks, which are more common in most modern routers. And Motorola hasn't abolished the P2 inputs, so both have wired headphones included in the box. Motorola also included a dedicated button for Google Assistant on the Moto G20. Both feature biometric sensors, the one on the Moto G20 centered on the back cover of the device, while the Moto G22 single-S sensor is embedded in the power button. It should be pointed out, however, that neither of the two phones has NFC or 5G connection, so it is not possible to make payments by proximity with a cell phone, and the latest and fastest connection network isn't accessible for these smartphones. Launched a year apart, the Moto G20 and Moto G22 are priced similarly in online retail, while the Moto G20 is sold on Amazon for $239.99. The Moto G22 goes for just $289 in the same store. Both come with a very complete kit in the box, which includes a 10 and 20 watts wall-fast charger, respectively, and a protective case, as well as stereo headphones. Check out the links to buy on video's description page. Here ends our comparison on Moto G22 and Moto G20. We hope you find it very useful. If you have any suggestion, kindly share with us in the comments section. Also, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Please click on the notification bell in front of the subscribe button to turn on notification for this channel, so as to notify you when I post new video. Thank you for watching.